The Price of Desire, a traditional Buganda story. In a far village in Singo, Buganda Kingdom, was a man named Semi. He was married to his wife and they had twin girls, Nakato and Babiria. Babiria is the name given to the twin girl that is born first, and the one that's born minutes after is called Nakato. The mother of twins is called Nalongo, and father is Salongo. You may call our protagonist Salongo Semitego. Semi's main job was carpentry. He made furniture that was artistic and loved by many in the village. It was hard to visit a house that did not have his furniture. There was a uniqueness to his craft, skill, and art. He was well known in the villages nearby, and many desired to be like him. Children and adults alike looked up to him. He was not rich, but by village standards, lived well enough to provide for his family a comfortable life. Land to farm, clothes on the back of his children, and a decent enough grass-thatched cottage. He was hardworking, friendly, and thoughtful except for a weakness he had for the female gender. Every woman he saw he desired to have. The wide-bum Baganda girls, the endowed hips of the Banyankolre, the tall girls from the north, the short Cassis girls. He was not picky at all. One just had to be female. Several times his wife got him in hideouts with various women. Husbands confronted him and threatened to bring their wives and hand them over to him to stop him from stealthily running to their compounds in their absence to indulge with their wives. Mothers confronted him over their underage children and threatened to have him reported to the village disciplinary council. He made havoc all over the place in accusations of promiscuity. On the fateful day, he went to run errands to find timber for his furniture business. He always went to the most isolated places looking for unique trees to give him special kinds of timber for his furniture. As he made his trip through the moor, he saw a mugave tree. It was chunky, huge, and looked natural enough to give him the kind of timber he wanted for the upcoming projects he had in mind. He was elated. He felt it bark. It was beautifully made and looked really strong. It was perfect. He started to assemble his tools to have it cut down. As he assembled them, he saw a female figure a few feet from him. She was clad in bark cloth from head to toe. Beautifully cut bark cloth dress. Bark cloth is the traditional cloth in Uganda, made from tree bark. Her hair was flowing freely around her beautiful shape. He felt drawn to her, so he decided to advance towards her. As he drew closer to her, he realized she was in tears, inconsolably sobbing. Her head was bowed to the ground, preventing him from seeing her face clearly. But her skin, it was a beautiful shade of chocolate. It looked supple and young. Her sobs were low. He reached out his hand and touched her. She had the most soft skin he had ever touched. It felt smooth like glass, but the softness was as though she was made of buttermilk cream. He gently urged her to look at him. When she raised her face, her big round brown eyes stared at him. They looked dreamy, but filled with so much sadness. She looked straight into him, and it's as though her eyes bored into his and looked into his soul. Her face was perfectly sculpted, high cheekbones, a soft, delicate mouth, soft, rounded cheeks, and a chin so well made. She was too beautiful to be crying. Her tears pained him. "Why is a beautiful woman like you crying?" he asked gently. He felt weak to her. He yearned to stop whatever bothered her. He yearned to soothe her and console her. She asked, "Will you help me with whatever I want?" Her voice felt like it had a musical tone to it. For a moment, he forgot about his wife, family. All he cared about was to make this woman smile, whatever the cost. What could ask for that was beyond him. If it was his farm, she would have it. His house, his furniture workshop, anything she asked, she would have. He immediately replied, "Whatever you want, I promise I will do it." And each word he said carried a weight of truth in it. He hungered to please her. "Nobody can love me. I was born with a defect. Can I trust you enough to tell you about it? Will you really help me?" She looked into his eyes with such pain in her face, he put his hand up in promise and assured her he would help. She went on timidly with her confession. "I have one breast," the medicine man said. "If I get a second breast, he can put it on me and put me all together. Then I will not be imperfect, and in reward I will marry you. I will bear you children, and we will live happily ever after." It's like the world had been promised to him at that very moment. He looked at the beautiful form before him, and in that instant decided he was ready to do whatever it took. A breast would not be impossible to give to this beautiful woman. Then she would be his and they would live bothered forever. There was only one hurdle, though, his wife. No matter the cost, he was determined to get this beautiful woman before him. He had never seen such beauty. Semi held the lady's face with both his hands in a very gentle touch, as he assured her he was going to help her, and was determined to have her for himself. "I will do whatever you want me to, I swear," Semi pledged. He begged her to wait for him and stay right there, and he would return as soon as possible. With thoughts rushing through his head, he made way through the moor to head to the village, and was determined to rush back and find his beauty. He ran faster than he ever had. His life depended on it. He wanted this woman so bad. It then occurred to him he had not even asked her name, but he thought that as the most minor thing and could find it out on his return. He started to picture life with her. The beautiful children that would have her eyes, how the whole village would envy him for having such a beautiful wife. Then he compared her to Nalongo. She could not even hold a candle for newfound beauty. He felt now that she was completely plain in comparison. The years of farming had worn her hands. They were rough to the touch. Childbirth had left birthmarks on her belly, and it had become more rounded over the years. Her face looked tired and strained. He needed a fresher look, someone untouched, not scarred. This new woman had all he was longing for and looking for from all those illicit affairs he was having. She would be enough. His body carried him towards his house. It felt farther than it had been when he left. He was not reaching fast enough. He increased his speed and was soon there.
Before the story continues, remember this. These tales were not told for entertainment alone. They were warnings. If you wish to hear more stories from Buganda and beyond, subscribe and listen carefully.
On reaching his house, he called, "Nalongo, Nalongo, Oliwa. Nalongo, where are you?" She was nowhere to be found. Nakato and Babariye were off to play with other children in the neighborhood off course, and were nowhere in sight either. He continued to call as he entered the cottage, and as he entered, he lay eyes on his wife. She was getting up to come to him. Her face filled with concern, she asked what troubled him. Before he could say anything, he wrestled her to the ground, yanked at her clothes, and she screamed and tried to push him away, but she was no match for his strength. Before she could understand what it all meant, he exposed her chest and cut her breast with his sharp knife in a quick motion. The pain that radiated through her was unspeakable. She screamed in pain and muttered pleas through clenched teeth as she begged for her fading life. Blood was gushing all over the cottage floor, but Semi was unbothered. He was preoccupied with packaging the breast and set out of the cottage, determined to take it to his newfound bride. He ran through the small path, a package in one hand racing to his beauty. He leaped as he ran, aiming to move faster. As he drew closer to the spot where he had abandoned his tools and his future bride, his heart filled with joy, he was finally going to have a bride he had got on his own. Nalongo and Salongo had been married through betrothment. His parents had made the match. It's as though he was dragged to marry her. This one would be different. He would never cheat on her. Gone are the days of people calling him a womanizer. On seeing his tools, he realized besides that nothing else was there. His murungi, the beautiful one, was not there. He stood and felt his head spin. It's as though all vegetation that surrounded him was spinning. He called out, "Murungi, Murungi! I have returned with the breast. Please come out." But she was nowhere to be found. She was completely out of sight. He called, tears choking his throat, pleading and begging, but not a sound came. In a moment of desperation, the weight of what he had done befell him, and he decided to run back home and find his long-suffering wife, Nalongo. He ran, tears rolling down his face, begging all powers in the spirit world to make him find her alive. Maybe he could put the breast back. Maybe a herbalist would help her. It felt impossible, but he had to try something. He reached his compound and ran straight inside the cottage, calling her, "Nalongo, Nalongo." When he reached her, he knelt beside her lifeless body, shaking her, begging her for forgiveness, and urging her to wake up. She never woke. As he held her lifeless body, his children came through the door and saw what was happening. Their screams filled the air and called people to help. In fear, he ran and headed again to the moor to try one more time to call his new bride. Maybe the first time she had gone to get something. He was now being followed by people from the village. He reached the place again and called out again, but she never came. As he wept, he felt hands grabbing him from all directions. The murderer, they called him. Everyone wanted to lynch him. In the midst of the chaos, a voice called people to order and asked for silence. It was the village chief, Mujomba. He made his way through the crowd to where Semi was. Semi was frightened. The chief is a cruel man. He asked Semi to tell his side of the story. He narrated how he had met a lady and everything that had gone on between them. The village chief told him that was no ordinary woman. It's a female spirit, Musambwa, that makes its way to the village once every year, poaching on the weak to get a sacrifice. This was its realm and would keep coming for as long as there were people whose weakness it would manipulate to its advantage. This year, Semi was a victim. It's the reason why in the hot afternoon sun, they never allowed children to the well by themselves, for it liked to hunt at the well in the bushes and in lone shelters at the far end of the village. Its real name was Ndibasa. It had been existing for all the years since their forefathers. It only kept changing the tricks through which it shape-shifted. It had preyed on his adulterous soul to get a sacrifice. Since the spirit was gone, he was to be held liable for his crime. Semitego was sentenced to a life of farming the king's land, as many hardcore criminals were. There he would be under the security of the guards and work day and night as a slave to the king until his body would give way and die. It was because of this story that the saying was started in Buganda Kingdom that Nsobeddwa ewaka nemukibira, to mean I am hopeless both at home and in the forest. It is a way to express despair, dilemma in time of trouble.
If you listen to stories like this, stay close. These are not told once.